Hi, everyone. I'm Caroline Zakari, and I work in the Office of Civics and Community Services here at the Los Angeles Public Library. Welcome to Financial Planning Month. Today's presentation is called Your Savings as a part of month of programs in support of financial planning. This program is brought to you by the Los Angeles Alliance for Economic Inclusion and the Los Angeles Public Library. Today, Linda Maldonado and Nora Perez from AEI will be talking to you about how to save money for goals and unexpected expenses, as well as proven saving strategies and tips on the best ways to save. We'll have a brief Q&A after the presentation, so please send us your questions throughout the program. Thank you, and take it away, Linda.
Hi, everyone. My name is Linda Maldonado, and I'm going to be talking to you about your savings next. But let me share with you a disclaimer. This presentation represents the views of the speaker and not necessarily those of the agencies they represent. This presentation cannot be reproduced or distributed by a third party or on a third party website without prior authorization. Next. So let's talk about your savings next. When we talk about in this first section, we're talking about what is savings. And a key takeaway that I want you to have with this particular segment of savings next is savings is setting aside some money every time you get income. Regularly saving money, even if only a small amount, can make a big difference over time. A key word in this sentence is regularly. This is not a one-time thing. This is a pattern of behavior that you continue to do on a weekly basis, every time you get paid, maybe weekly or biweekly or even monthly. Regularly saving money, even a small amount, can make a big difference over time. So what does saving mean? For a lot of people, savings is a great cushion. For some people, savings is a way to get out of debt. For me, savings is providing a financial backstop, if you will, for life's uncertainties. It also gives me an increased feeling of security and peace of mind, knowing that I have a savings fund somewhere that I am aware of that I can take and use whenever I need it. Next. So the question I often get is spending less money the same as saving money? It only is if you save what you didn't spend. Saving, as I mentioned earlier, is setting aside money on a regular basis so that you can have something in the future. To build savings means spending less money and putting some of it or all of it into of what you didn't spend into a savings account. Next. So ask yourself, why save money? For some, it's meeting goals, perhaps going back to school, a trip around the world. For some, it's building wealth. I want to save today so that I can have something for my children, my children's children. We save money in case of emergencies. You don't know what happens or what can happen, but an emergency can occur. We save money because there are times when we have more month than we have income. For some, like myself, saving money offers peace of mind. And there are tons of other reasons. You have to identify what that reason is for you to start the practice of saving. Next. There are a few quick tips on finding ways to save. For example, when doing your research about where to save your money, if it's at a bank or a credit union, you want to check to see if there are any charges or fees attached to the number of times you use an ATM. Perhaps you want to take that money that you saved on ATM fees to put into a separate savings account. Bank on it. There is actually programs out there. There are banks that may offer low to no fee accounts that you can open. And you can take the money that would normally go to those feed accounts and put it into a savings account. And then, of course, you want to look to make sure that when you buy something, that you're not buying the brand, that you're buying something because it's something that you need. Oftentimes, we often buy items that because they have a name brand on it, you're literally paying for the brand name and not necessarily the quality or efficiency of the product that you're purchasing. So why don't you take that money, save it, and put it into a fund? Next. So again, the takeaway for this particular section is setting aside some money every time you get an income is a way of establishing that savings. Regularly saving money, even if only a small amount, can make a big difference over time. So you may be asking yourself, where can I build my savings? In this section, we're going to talk about the various ways that we can. Next. So consider the advantages and disadvantages of savings options before choosing where to build your savings. Next. There are a lot of options when it comes to where you should put your savings and the funds that you have extra to put aside. And each one has an advantage and disadvantage. Next. Some places to consider. Aside from your savings and checking account or perhaps the water bottle on in the bottom of the closet in your room, there are money market deposit accounts. There are certificates of deposits, or what we hear as CDs, U.S. savings bonds. We have retirement accounts that often are available through your employer, or individual retirement accounts, otherwise known as IRAs. And then there are investments such as stocks, corporate bonds, and mutual funds. But the purpose of these types of accounts is because this is money that you're putting aside, and it is what is considered a locked account. You cannot and will not have the regular access to these accounts as you would if you had a savings account at your bank or credit union. Once you open up a money market or a CD, or even with a savings bond, that money is secured in that particular account for a particular length of time. So you would not have access to that money until after the term has elapsed. Next. And the wonderful thing about each and every one of these accounts is that each deposit is secured. These deposits are insured to usually at least $250,000 a year. $250,000. And if you see these logos, FDIC, that's usually to your more commercial and your community banks, and NCUA is found in the credit union. Those are the actual deposit insurers for each of your bank accounts. Next. Let's talk about a couple of words associated with savings. Interest and compounding. Interest is the money that financial institutions pay you for keeping money deposited with them. You usually see that interest expressed as a percentage. And you may also have to consider that you have to pay income tax on that interest that you earn while keeping that money in that financial institution. And then the compounding is the earned interest on the interest. So trust me, any monies that you have in any of accounts, on these accounts, there's interest that is constantly compounding. It's adding up, and it can add up to your favor. Next. Another term that we use is annual percentage yield, or APY. This reflects the amount of interest on a yearly basis. It's very different from an interest rate, and it includes the effects of compounding. So the more often your money compounds, the higher the annual percentage yield, and the more interest you will earn. So be sure when you're looking for compounding interest that you're comparing the annual percentage yield, or APY, and not the interest rate. Next. So remember, there are huge advantages and disadvantages of savings options. And so look into that. Do the research before choosing where to build your savings. Saving for unexpected expenses seems pretty far-fetched. For us, and for a lot of us, we decide, hey, we've got the money for right now. I'm going to use it right now. Tomorrow can take care of itself. Next. The key takeaway in this section is that an emergency savings fund is part of the foundation of your financial health. Setting aside $500 to maybe even $1,000 can cover many unexpected expenses. Next. So why save for the unexpected? Well, first reason, because life happens. Because you don't know what's going to happen. The unexpected event can occur. Next. Having an emergency savings fund goal will help to fund those unexpected expenses. It allows you to use the money that you've saved and avoid you using credit that only creates further debt. Having an emergency savings fund goal takes time, and it's commitment. It's a cycle. It's worth doing. And it is probably the first important step that you need to take to improve the financial health and stability of your household. Next. So when we're anticipating changes to income and expenses, we have to consider that we still have to live. I bet that there were many of us who were struggling through the pandemic. People lost their jobs. People lost their means to income. And if they were receiving income, it was a lot less than what they were receiving. And those incomes change. The expenses don't, but we still have to pay our bills. You may have bills that arrive only once a year, perhaps a few times a year. Perhaps you have an insurance policy that you have to pay for twice a year. You got to pay for that annual premium. Perhaps you have a student loan that is coming in to be due to be paid. You've got to prepare for that. And your spending can increase temporarily. Perhaps an unexpected accident, medical bill, some assistance that you were extending to your family came upon your budget. That spending was not something that you anticipated. You didn't have time to plan for. But if you did plan for a savings fund and you planned including those dollars in your budget, you could be then more helpful and you can utilize that budget more effectively. Next. Again, this section, the main takeaway you want to walk away from in this section is that an emergency savings fund is part of the foundation of your financial health. Setting aside even something as small as $500 to maybe $1,000 can cover many unexpected expenses. So remember when I was talking to you about the goals that you may have to start a savings fund? What is your saving goal? What is your dream that you wish to aspire to? And how can your savings help you achieve that? Next. The key takeaway here, create a plan to save money for your goals. Next. So here's your opportunity to hope and to dream. Ask yourself, what do you hope for or want in life for yourself? What are the goals and dreams that you have for your family? Next. One way to identify those goals and those dreams and aspirations is to develop a SMART goal. So you have your vision, you have your dream. You now want to create manageable goals to achieving that dream. They're referred to as SMART goals. The acronym stands for SMART. So S is for specific, M is measurable, A is action oriented, R reachable, and T, there's a time bound date to which you wish to achieve that goal. So the example that I've given you here is, I will save $10 each month for the next 6 months by getting cash at my bank's ATM rather than the ATM that charges fees, so that I have $60 for holiday gifts by November 1. Did you see there how specific I was about the amount of money that I was going to set aside for a measurable time period? In this example, 6 months. And then I included action. What is the action in this goal? I was going to make sure that I was going to take out cash at my bank's ATM rather than an ATM that charges fees. And then it was reachable. In this example, the reachable goal was I was going to accrue $60 by the end of the 6 months that I appointed. And then what was the goal? What was the time that I laid on this example? I was going to purchase holiday gifts by when? November 1st. So you want to make sure that your SMART goal is specific, measurable, that you're taking very, very focused actions, that it's reachable, and that there's a time-bound date to your goal. Next. So we are more likely to achieve your goals when we do a few things. When we write them down, when we get a Post-it and write that goal on that Post-it, when we put it on our mirror or on the door, when we share them with our confidants, our friends or family that can hold us accountable, and more specifically, when we remain focused. I read an article recently that people who write their goals, post them, share them, and stay focused on their saving goals, they are 2 to 3 times more likely to achieve those goals, because now they've made a promise to themselves. Reading that Post-it note that includes your goal is a constant reminder of the promise that you've made to yourself to achieve a particular savings account goal, and then what that savings account is going to do as a result of it. Next. So how much money should you start saving for your goals? Again, it really depends on your answers to the following questions. What are you saving for? Are you saving for a class? Are you saving for a vacation? Are you saving for a particular debt that you wish to relinquish? Ask yourself that question. And then, how much will that goal cost? If the class is $2,000, then saving $20, $40, $50, whatever the amount is for a certain specific amount of time can help you to reach that goal. And then how much of that cost do you need to save? If the class is $2,000, but you only have to pay maybe $1,000, know that information up front so that you can make smart goals. And then what is your deadline? For example, if you are creating an emergency savings fund of $1,000 in 2 years, this might be the example that you need, the example that we could use to creating that $1,000 emergency fund. $1,000 divided by 100 is actually 50 weeks in 2 years, right? So you're saving $10 a week. And after 2 years, you will have even more than the $1,000 that you were asking for. You will have $1,040. Okay. So you always want to consider what it is, the goal that you wish to achieve. If it's $500, if it's $1,000, and then divide that by the number of times that you're going to set that money aside. In this case, you're going to save $10 a week. And that will give you the length of time that you will need to reach your $1,000 savings goal. Next. There are also large expenses that we often incur, and we often use a savings account to pay for them. Appliance is a big one. Tires, when your car breaks down. Perhaps an unexpected expense with your automobile, a tune-up. Perhaps those are things that you can save for in advance. So many of your savings and goals are related to large expenses. And large expenses generally require more money than what you have left over in your paycheck. Because let's be real, you get a paycheck perhaps once a week or every other week. And after you've paid the mortgage or paid the rent, and you paid your utilities, and you paid the grocery bill, and you've paid the car note, and you've put gas in the car, very rarely do you have any extra money to pay for that refrigerator that's been giving you the blues the last 2 months, 3 months. But if we take what we have left over in our paycheck and set it aside in a very separate account that we do not have access to and that we commit to not touching for a certain amount of time, we can be assured that over time, that savings account can afford you a new refrigerator. It can be done. Next. So the key takeaway in this section is create a plan to save money for your goals. Next. As I mentioned earlier, there are lots of other accounts that you can use to help to save money. I know that my grandmother, she was infamous for putting her extra money into a Ziploc bag and putting it in the back of the freezer so that no one could see it. But all of her grandkids, we would intentionally go into the freezer to get ice, but we wanted to see how big the Ziploc bag was with all the money that she had saved. And many people still have chosen to use various methods in which to save their money. Some keep it in a prosperity jar in the bottom of their closet, like I do to this day. Some have a piggy bank. Some have other special savings accounts. Next. Some special accounts enable people to save more money. And we're going to look at some. Next. There are matched savings accounts, and those are accounts that encourage people to save money for a specific purpose. And they're usually run by local community-based organizations. There are some organizations out there, if you do a Google search, that are run by communities that encourage a matched savings account. So whatever dollar amount you bring to the table, or into that account, they will either match some of it or all of it. There are some 401ks that are also offered by employers that do a matched process or engagement with you. So if you decide that I am going to donate $10 of my pre-taxed income into my 401k, your employer may offer a matched up to $5, let's say, or up to $6. But that's an additional $6 to your 401k that you would not have had because you originally invested $10. So now in total, your account has accrued $16. So that's something to consider. Also, there are individual development accounts, IDAs, or children's savings accounts, which are CSAs. And sometimes you can go to your child's elementary school and ask if they have that kind of passbook savings account. I know when I was a little girl, that we started learning about financial literacy as early as first grade. And each of us received a passbook that allowed us to take our allowances, a portion of it, and put it into our savings account. So we were given the opportunity to understand what savings looked like, even as a 6-year-old. So that might be something that you want to introduce to your child or teenager about financial literacy, because frankly, it's never too late to learn about savings and learning how to be responsible with your dollars. Next. There are purposes to a match savings account. Sometimes these purposes include job training, college education, a small business startup, or even purchasing a home. But many of these match savings accounts and programs will require some financial education courses to take place. So you want to make sure that you are open to those opportunities and that you're open to being able to understand what matched savings looks like. So be open to any opportunity to learn about savings. Next. The key takeaway in this section is that whatever special account you can come across that will help you to save more money, do the research, understand completely what it is to be involved in a matched savings account, and then take advantage of them if it works for you and helping you to meet your savings goals. Next. So, a lot of information today about savings. Savings is big. Savings is a practice. Savings requires you to take action. So the questions you want to ask is, what will I do? Am I going to make a concerted effort and a promise to myself that I'm going to save whatever portion of money you have, whether it's $5 a week, $10 every 2 weeks, or whether it's $100 a month? What will you do? The second question, how will I do it? Ask yourself, are you going to put it into a savings account? Are you going to start that savings account with a 401k product that your employer has available for its employees? Are you going to put it in a prosperity jar in the bottom of your closet? Whatever that choice is, how will you do it? And then the last question is, how will I share my plans? Are you willing to share your plans with anyone? And if so, who? And it has to be someone you trust, right? Someone who's going to hold you accountable. Someone who is going to be like most of my friends when they know that I'm trying to save for a trip at the end of the year and they see me walk into a restaurant and buy food that I could have probably cooked myself. They're usually the first ones who say, Linda, aren't you getting ready to take a trip? Couldn't you save those $20 for your trip? You want someone who is going to hold you accountable, someone who is going to be honest with you. And once you identify who that person is, it's going to make a world of difference in how you pursue your savings goals. Thanks for listening. And you're going to now hear more from Nora Perez about how you're saving and what's available. Take it away, Nora.
Hi, everyone. Wow, a wealth of information, Linda. Thank you for the tips and information. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'm Nora Perez. We are here to help you meet the goal of savings goal through the LA Saves campaign. We have the tool to create a plan to save money for your goals. Next, please. American Saves and LA Saves. American Saves is a campaign managed by the nonprofit Consumer Federation of America. This campaign helps seek and motivate, encourage, and support low to moderate income households to save money, reduce debt, and build wealth. Think of LA Saves as your savings accountability partner. We are here to simply give you a wealth of information and encourage you to save money. Plus, it's October Financial Planning Month, right? So let's start saving. So we encourage you to take advantage of this free tool. You can go to lasaves.org in order to take the steps in holding yourself accountable for savings. Next, please. So why save? It's so important to have a little savings to support you through, like Linda said, unexpected emergencies. In general, emergency savings can be used for large or small unplanned bills or payments that are not part of your routine monthly expenses and spending. Set aside, like Linda said, 500 to 1,000 can cover many unexpected items. Save for homeownership, education, pay off a debt, or even a vacation. I know, and it's really tough to set aside a portion of your income for savings, but we always recommend automatic savings. If your money goes straight to savings, you're less likely to miss it, right? Set up a direct deposit with your employer. Split your paycheck so that the savings never gets to your checking account at all, so you won't see it. Have the portion of savings go straight to a separate savings account. Just remember, pay yourself first. Okay, next, please. Reducing debt. Linda discussed creating spending and saving plan. You can also think about saving by reducing debt. You will save on interest and improve your credit score for future needs. Next, please. Good credit management is important, right? It's so important to plan and build to maintain a good credit history. Good credit saves money, and bad credit costs money, right? Think of credit as a tool to be used wisely. Employers, landlords, and insurance companies may use your credit to determine whether you're a good risk. So that's why it's important to take control of your credit. Save with a healthy credit score. A good credit score goes beyond the ability to get a loan at the best rates. Best terms. It also saves money on things like utilities, rent, cell phone plans. Reach financial security. Begin with start an emergency fund. Whatever amount you are comfortable with. This covers small emergencies while you're getting out of debt, right? Next, please. Plan to reduce your debt. Getting out of debt is the third a goal savers select. They pledge to save. It makes sense because debt can keep you from building wealth, and it also is very stressful, right? Large consumer debt can keep you from saving and building wealth. However, a good credit history will result in getting the lowest interest rates for loans and other services, which will put you in a better position to increase your savings and increase your wealth, right? With planning, discipline, and patience, almost anyone can reduce debt and start accumulating wealth. So let's start today to enroll in the lasaves.org and take a promise to yourself. Take the pledge to yourself that you're going to save money. Next, please. Take the pledge. It's lasaves.org. Why take the pledge? Take the pledge. LSA's pledge is the pledge. It's a promise to yourself. I always say it's a promise to yourself to start saving, the savings journey, and LSAs is here to encourage you along the way. Take the first step towards creating a better financial future for yourself and your family. Pledge taking process. The pledge is very simple. During the pledge, you will establish personal goals, make a plan, and complete a goal. Complete a pledge. You will then get periodic reminders, resources, and tips to keep on track towards your savings goals. I get the monthly reminders to save, and I promise myself that I put, I go direct deposit. So I do not see that money. I just set aside money on a monthly basis. So that's how I do it. So all we need is your name, the set a goal. What are you saving for? Emergency funds, for education, for a car, or anything, vacation as well. Make a plan, amount you want to save a month. Keep in touch. We need your name, zip code, email address, phone number if you'd like to receive text reminders and tips. Next, please. Make an example. So putting aside 50 cents a day over the course of the year will allow you to save nearly 40% of the 500 emergency fund, according to AmericanSaves.org. Most people think it's not worth it, right? If we put it aside 2/4 a day, but the reality is that many people can put away 50 cents a day, right? And the number shows that it adds up over time. So put it in your bank account or put it in your piggy bank. Making a plan is establishing personal goals is part of the process, right? The plan is the pledge and intended to help you meet your savings goals by offering you long-term accountability and support along the way. So we're here for you. Next, please. Now I'm going to be talking about bank accounts. Do you need to open a bank account? Opening a bank account can be one of the most important steps you take towards reaching your financial goals, right? So why? Because putting your money is an FDIC insured bank account can offer you financial safety, easy access to your funds, savings from check cashing fees, receiving your IRS refund straight to your account, and not worrying about it, or getting lost in the mail. It simply goes straight to your account, and overall financial peace of mind, right? So get that direct deposit going. And learn how to open an account at an FDIC insured bank, FDIC./get banked. Next, please. Some banks that are participating in the Bank On offer low cost accounts. You can open your own affordable, safe, and certified bank or credit union. Nationally certified Bank On accounts have no overdraft fees. Most of them have $5 or less a month, and you can use them to manage your money and pay your bills at no cost. You could go to the link below, which is the dcba.lacounty.gov. You will see the list of checking accounts available to you from banks participating in the Bank On. You simply pick a bank and pick a bank or credit union from the list, and then open your own safe Bank On certified account. Use your account to direct deposit funds, pay bills, and manage your money. Next, please. Now I'm going to be talking about VITA. VITA is Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. This program is an excellent opportunity for individuals and families to keep more of their money and save on tax preparation fees. VITA offers free tax help to people who generally make $60,000 or less a year, persons with disabilities, the elderly, and limited English-speaking taxpayers who need assistance in preparing their own tax returns. So we do that for free, promoted by Free Tax Prep, Los Angeles IRS, certified volunteer, provide free basic income tax return preparation with electronic filing to qualified income-based individual and families. Even if you're not required to file, you may be entitled to tax credits at the federal, state, and state level. So take advantage of that. So you could go to the links below to locate a VITA site near you, and the information, the link is below. Next, please. And here's the resources and links that are useful to obtain. And your credit report, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, helps consumers by providing education material and accepting complaints. Take the Ally Saves Pledge, allysaves.org, and learn how to establish a bank account as well. So here are the resources for you. And thank you for having me. So if we want to go to, here we go.
Okay, we're back. Yeah, here's Linda. Okay, so great. Let's get to great presentation, guys. Let's get to the questions. Let's see if any have come in. Yes, here we go. Must I have a lot of money to start saving?
Or you want to take that, or you want me to take it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a great question. I get that a lot. Does it take having a lot of money to start savings? No. I remember as a 6-year-old, my first income was my $2 allowance every other Saturday when my dad gave it to me, right? Of course, we had to do our chores and get good grades in school, but I received my first education about saving through that $2 allowance. So putting 50 cents aside was my savings to get candy at the end of the month. So, because what do 6-year-olds want? They want candy. So I would go, 50 cents every 2 weeks, which meant I had a full $1 to get all the lollipops, all the gum, all the chewables that I could possibly eat at the end of the month, because that was my goal. So no, taking 25 cents, 50 cents, anything.
And the only thing I will add is just set a realistic goal, believe in yourself, and make sure that you're setting the SMART goals and work your goals into your future plans. So make it consistent, and also take advantage of the Ally Saves to gather the resources and supplies you need to be successful.
Thank you. I should tell my kids that to have. We have another question that just came in. How do we learn? Marmar says, how do we learn about how to invest?
Great question. And here's my answer. You can't start investing until you have some money set aside to invest. While this session wasn't about investing and learning how to invest, here's what I can offer you. Start a savings plan and indicate how much is it that you would like to start investing, whatever that is. If it's investment in a money market or in some type of 401k or whatever it is, if it's say $1,000, set the SMART goal. How much am I going to use? How much am I going to put aside in savings via my income or maybe a side business that you have? How much of it am I going to set aside in savings to reach that $1,000 investment goal? And then once you have that, go visit your bank. Go visit your bank, do some research, Wall Street Journal, or maybe the New York Times, LA Times, and find ways to invest in a small business, invest in a particular stock or bond, whatever it is. Do the research, do a lot of reading, and then you can learn and teach yourself about investing. Warren Buffett was said to have one of his key resources in becoming the multi-billionaire, the richest man in the world, was his ability to read everything. He read everything. And whatever he noticed worth reading, he read it. And if he felt that he could invest in it, he would invest in it.
That's great. Great advice. Thank you. And then, Mara, we're going to have another program tomorrow. I'll talk about more on investing. So, okay, another question. Just how much do I have to save to start a savings plan?
As far as the savings plan is concerned, no amount is too small.
Just be realistic.
Be realistic. Absolutely. You're right, Nora. I mean, what my sister would do, she would take whatever loose change was in her pocket every day, whatever loose change was in her pocket, she would put it in one of those 5-gallon bottles.
I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, right. Hey, we're doing it. And she would just drop it in. If it was a penny, if it was a quarter, but she knew that she was not touching that jar until it was full. So every day, pennies, quarters, nickels, dimes, whatever you have. But here's what she did. One, she made a commitment to doing that every day, putting her loose change in the jar. Number two, she made a commitment not to touch the jar. And number three, when she finally did touch the jar, it was because she had a goal in mind. She went to pay off some debt that she had. So how much do you need to start to save, start a plan? You can save as little as 5 cents, 10 cents, but make it realistic and make it consistent.
I mean, that's great advice. Like, just start and then go on. Oh, we have another question that from Weather Chart. I hear all the time that credit unions are better than banks. What do you guys think?
Wow. Okay, Nora, do you want to? Because I got an opinion.
My husband works at a credit union, so I have.
I'm sorry.
I hear this all the time too. My husband also works at a credit union, so I hear this all the time too.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm really not sure the comparison, but they're both secure. One is secured by the FDIC, the other, FDIC, and the other one NCUA. So
yeah,
it protects your money.
Yeah, I think what I like about, one of the advantages, and this is not, it's not rocket, this is not a scientific, opinion or anything like that, but you'll notice that there are a lot fewer credit unions than there are actual branches to banks. So what the advantage is that when you don't have the credit union ATM right there on every other corner, you're more inclined to not be tempted to dip into your savings, right? Because that account is in that credit union and it's secure and it can't be touched as often as you would a regular, a commercial ATM. So that's the first one. Number two is I always encourage people to build a relationship with their financial institution. And it has been my personal experience that whenever I've needed, to get a car or to get, a personal loan for education, that the relationship that I had with my credit union was helpful in being able to get the best kind of loan, whether it was the great interest rate on the loan, or the terms of the loan, how long the loan would take to be paid back. And because I had that relationship with them, they were very, very, very fun. They were fun, and they were very lenient, right? They were very helpful in helping to be practical about paying back my loans. So, yeah. But again, you can have that relationship with any banking institution. It doesn't have to be a credit union. So, but that's just my opinion. Again, do the research, read, find out for yourself whether or not going to a credit union is better for you versus going to a commercial bank.
That's true. I mean, yeah, the Marmar has another question. What's the amount do we have to save for emergency? Should save for 1 month of expenses, but do we include only bills that count as expenses or things that are not necessarily a need but a want?
Wow, that's a great question.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great question. So first things first, the amount you save for emergencies. So here's a tip. Write a list of all your necessities. That includes your rent, your mortgage, food, utilities, cart. Those are it's a food, rent, mortgage, car note, and food are the 3 largest expenses that come out of your income. So write that down. Write down all your utilities, all of the necessities that you need for that month. And then calculate whether it's 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. That then will be your emergency fund. And the reason why you hear that you should have up to maybe 3 months of emergency fund is because it typically takes people anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3 months to get a new job. So whatever you want to do, whatever that savings fund is going to hold you over until you get to the next job. So if it's going to take, if you think it's going to take longer because your career is a very specialized science or an art, and it's going to take longer for you to get another job, then save for 4 months, 5 months. But whatever that is, that should be your emergency fund. And yes, that emergency fund must include your necessities and not your wants. It is a good time also to consider that if you have perhaps a cell phone program or plan that has a lot of features that you're not using, negotiate and reduce that plan and use that money, the money that you saved, put it in that emergency fund. Things that you don't need. So going out, eating out, fast food, restaurants, movies, things of that nature.
Any apps.
Yep, any apps, streaming videos. I mean, we got Netflix, Amazon, we got all of these streaming platforms, and you can only watch one. So pick one.
That is true. I mean, I have to cut the cord with the cable because we don't watch it because we watch the streaming stuff. I know, there's so many extra things that I don't really need.
Yeah. And you'll be surprised that over time, those $15.99 over time becomes a bill or becomes something that you could have used and placed in your savings account to cover a necessity that you needed. So yeah, great question, Marmar.
Very true. Thank you so much. Yeah, good tips too. I have one other question. How does Ellie Saves help me purchase a home?
So the way we help is Ellie Saves will keep you motivated with information, advice, tips, and reminders to help you reach your savings, your goal for purchasing a home. These tips online are home saving tips and how to save money, and then those reminders that you get every month. When you take that pledge every month, if you're saving, say $500 a month for your down payment. And we'll help you get to your goal. So that's how we could help.
Thank you, Nora. Let's see if another question has come in. I think I have one more question. Should money I put into a savings account be part of my monthly budget?
Oh, let me take this one, please. Yes, yes. Believe it or not, because every need in your household that helps to, any payment that you make. Savings is what I consider the pay myself first fund, right? My savings dollar amount, every 2 weeks, I commit to my direct deposit, right? So I have a certain dollar amount that goes from my direct deposit into an external account that I have zero access to.
Out of sight, out of mind, right?
Out of sight, out of mind. I don't touch it. It's part of my budget because I'm paying myself first. And that money is something that is a line item on my budget right before I pay the mortgage, right before I pay my car note, before I go grocery shopping, before I pay the cell phone bill, before I do anything. That money is automatically directly deposited into an exterior account. An exterior account, I meant, is an external account, not the bank at the bank that I'm using. As a matter of fact, it's my credit union. There it is.
No, that's good. Have it somewhere else. That's a great idea.
It's somewhere. It's completely somewhere else, because if I have an ATM card to the savings account and I know that the ATM is 2 blocks away, guess what? I'm going to be tempted to take out the money that I'm trying to save for. Right. And if you're anything like the younger me, I would say, oh, I'll take out 20 now and I'll just put it back when I next get paid. It never works. It never works.
You do it next month and the following month. And
right. Exactly. So what do? I make sure that starting my savings plan, whatever that dollar amount that I'm planning to save is part of my budget. I make a concerted effort to keep to that budget. And like you said, Nora, it was great. Keep it consistent and make sure that it's realistic. Don't say, we're good. We're like, yeah, I'm going to save $100 a month. You can't save $100 a month. Especially if your needs make it impossible for you to save $100 a month. Great goal. You can aspire to that, but start off at $10. Keep it simple and make it part of your budget.
Thank you. Yeah, that's true. Keep
that's
it simple.
awesome. Yeah.
Make it a goal you can achieve. And then thank you guys so much. I think we're coming up on the hour. So thank you. For a great presentation. I learned a lot. I love that whole SMART goal. I'm going to use that.
Yes.
And then, and if anyone missed any of this presentation, it will be available for viewing on LAPL's YouTube channel shortly. The address is youtube.com/Los Angeles Library. And also, please join us again tomorrow at 12 o'clock, another streaming program called Investor Protection from the SEC. They're going to be talking about strategies for smart investing, common scams, and tips to avoid fraud. And so for more information on this program and all of our Financial Planning Month programs, please visit our Financial Planning Month webpage. Its URL is lapl.org/financial planning. Thank you, everyone, again, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.